Alright, so I came out here yesterday evening and pulled the rear pinion off the front axle. So this is where the yoke bolts that goes to the rear drive shaft from the front diff to the rear diff. And this is the pinion that hooks through to the power divider. So there's a seal here and there's a bearing inside here. So we'll probably pull this apart. We're definitely gonna put a seal in it. We'll probably put a bearing in it too while we got it apart. And that way when we put our new diffs in, all that part will be fresh. And then when we get ready to install them, we'll probably put axle bearings and wheel seals and all that in the outside. And that'll be all fresh. So that's where we're at on that. So we're ready to do that. I got the truck pulled up out the woods so I can work on it. And got this jig here, which goes in a receiver hitch on a truck, and hang a chain hoist or come along on this, and that way I can jack that stuff up and then slip the rebuilt diffs into the housing, because they're a little heavy. So I took some time the other day and moved the dually out the way and got the cleaned out from underneath the gantry crane. So we got to where we can get the truck up here and get the engine pulled out of it. So we got that done. And then we got the frame rails up here so I can use them to mark holes. And I move the front axle and the front springs. So we're about ready to go get the 68 from Danny's and bring it up here. So we'll get to working on that. Somebody had asked, they said they seen the 68 in the background, but it's not a 68, it's a 71. It's a 71 Cheyenne that I built about this time last year. And I really hadn't done anything with it. I went to a cruise in and it puked transmission fluid out the dipstick onto the header and caught the truck on fire. I think the vent on the thing is clogged because it sat on the back of this truck in the barn for 15-20 years. Probably 20 something years, probably close to 30 years. Anyway, it sat in the barn, and then I put the transmission in here and it acted like it didn't want to take fluid. And then, like I said, I was driving it the other week and I think the Bandit EFI was starting to learn. It was running really good, and then transmission started slipping. I pulled off the shoulder and seen flames, and luckily I had a gallon of water on the back of the truck, and so I put the fire out or it would have burnt to the ground. So anyhow, so like I said, we got all the hook bolts cut out of that suspension, and I think it was Working Dog had commented and said, hey, tell tell everybody what a hook bolt is. Well, these are hook bolts right here. Okay? And it kind of almost looks like a bolt on one side. It's got an offset head on it where they can put a tool on one side. And then this part right here. Okay, it looks like a bolt, but the threads don't connect. So this is rings. It's just parallel rings. And so when they assemble it at the factory, they stick the hook in. That's this end right here. The hook bolt. And then the hook end itself goes on here and it crimps on. So it's actually better than a bolt because it can't loosen. Once you push it all the way up on here and it locks in those rings, they don't connect. So if it moved at all, it could spin around in a circle, but it's not going to come off because it's not threads, it's just rings. It's just rings. They don't connect. Now I cut this one with a torch, and I learned this one was cut with a torch also. And so what happens when you cut them with the torch, with the slag on it, it makes it bigger than the hole is, and then you got to beat them out. And if you don't beat them out where they're hot, they don't come off good. But if you'll take and cut them with a cutoff wheel, and you cut them at an angle like this, and then if you pop it with a 2 or 4 pound hammer, it snaps it, and then it just falls right out. So one, it's cheaper because cutoff wheels are relatively inexpensive, and oxygen, and I use propane, but still that's consumable stuff and it's expensive. So, and it's a lot more work. I mean, it don't take any time to cut through that with a cutoff wheel. And then, like I said, you pop it with a hammer, it breaks it off, and then it falls out instead of having to take and a big punch and punch every one of these out while they're hot. So that's how they work. And they use them on the body too. That's what holds these body panels together. The hook goes in from the outside, the hook bolt, and then the actual hook itself goes in from the inside. Now these are facing out, so they're backwards. But see, it's a hook just like this, but smaller, and it goes in a tool and it expands just like a pop rivet, and then it locks it on and it won't come off unless you cut it, just like a pop rivet. So, and it, like I said, it can't come loose because it's not threads, it's just circles. So it's a really strong fastener that will tighten down and it won't come out. So, but of course, I'm probably gonna buy a hook tool to do up to 1/4. So, because I want to replace the rear cab panel in the 68, because it's dented up from where Glad Hands is beat in the back of the sleeper. But I wouldn't want to buy a hook tool that this is a 3/4 inch hook, a 3/4 inch hook bolt. I would not want to buy the tool it takes to work this, so we'll use 3/4 bolts. And I've already ordered the 13/16 annular cutter, or roto broach, or whatever you want to call it. It goes in a mag drill to drill these holes out with. I ordered 3 of them so I'd make sure that I could drill all the holes I need to drill. But I think there's 6 for each hanger. That's 10 for this front. I think it's So we're talking about 10 per hanger plus 4 per bump stop, and I mean it's like 20 per axle. So that's 80 something holes I got to drill. But we'll get it. We'll get it. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. We got the source, a couple ports for this right here, and we'll get the diffs over here. We'll get them installed in the housings and get everything sealed up good, and then we'll work on getting the diffs out, get these housings out of the chassis, put these housings up underneath the chassis, and then we're going to get the truck over there and get the engine out of it, and then we'll go get the 68. So we'll show you more as we go, so y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna document. Somebody else had said something about that they wanted to see what the 68 looked like. Well, there's a video coming up that's got some current pictures of this, or current video of the 68, but there is a playlist. If you look at my channel, there's a playlist on the 68 that's got all the videos that I've done on it so far. Most of the videos are over 2 years old because I was working on it in the spring of 22, and then life happened and money ran out and work had to happen, and so that's where we're at. But anyway, anybody that wants to, I highly recommend going back, and it shows from me bringing it home all the way to where it's at right now. So y'all go back and watch them videos, especially if you're interested. All right, we'll show you more as we go. Thanks.